Okay. Where does she, I think I like the family orientation of her fighting. Um and the peacefulness that she did have. Elva is a straight baddie. I think they both are. I think they'd make a great team. I mean, look at her. I mean, her boobs, it's just out. All I hear are screams. But I do really like her. I like the red and black patterns too. You're not wrong. Yeah, you can't see hers. Dang. Okay. Now on to Nut. Babe, it's Nut. I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure he's right in the way he pronounces it, but it's definitely Nut to me, and that's what I was gonna say. Time, I've unlocked it. I see past and future running free. Um, his his outfit's cool. It's fine, I guess. His design's kind of mid, guys. I don't really like it, and that's not a play on him being small. It's just mid. I don't like his design. It's not as bad as the monsters because he's still human. I'm just not a fan. Let's see what if his whatever this is called lore helps him out at all. And he is gonna be Nut this whole time. So if that bothers you, that's on you. I don't care. Um. Okay. Nut was born in an era of envy. His father, Durin, the Mountain King of Gloomdeep Hold, had watched for decades as the wealth and sophistication of foreigners outshined that of his own kingdom. King Durin had visited Gloomdeep's only Port Wretched, many times, and on each occasion he found himself more and more incensed at what he found in the markets there. How had the outsiders managed to create such wonders? How were their ships so fine? Their clothes so rich and their magic so clever. Durin's anger wasn't only for the other races who visited Port Wretched. Indeed, the king's greatest envy was for some of his own people. The Dwarven treasure fleets from the distant Skirin dominion had visited Port Wretched for centuries, their arrival as regular as clockwork. Each and every time King Durin greeted the Skirian admiral, he nearly shook with rage at how much a mere officer garbed themselves better than he. He he railed at how the Dominions. Oh, my phone's dying. That sucks. I am not reading that comment, babe. That's awful. Um, he railed at how the Dominion's ceremonial gifts were always looked upon with awe by his court, and how his own gifts to the Dominion were always received with little more polite gratitude. The wealth of the Skirian dominion shamed King Durin, for he thought himself a great king. But would a great king not have a great kingdom? The Mountains of Despair were a hard home, and Gloomdeep Hold, buried in the heart of those same mountains, produced a hard people. They were proud, they were strong, they were great. Finally, after half a lifetime of envy and shame, King Durin declared his intention to lay such a mound of opulence at the foot of the next admiral that there could be no doubt that Gloomdeep Hold was the equal of the Skirian dominion. Any dwarf who could find or forge a treasure to match a Skirian prize would be hailed as a hero, and all eyes were on Nut to produce the greatest treasure of all. If only Nut had been remotely prepared for such scrutiny. He had spent much of his youth tinkering with whatever whimsy came to mind, first in the forge, then in the training yard, then the tavern, then the council chamber, and so Nut became a master of nothing. Not a great smith, nor a mighty warrior, nor a talented diplomat. His greatest talent was for producing bawdy versions of common tavern songs. He made for a delightful friend, but a poor hero. With the king's decree ringing through the austere halls of Gloomdeep Hold, Nut found himself wondering how he might meet the expectations of his father's court. He quickly discarded the idea of crafting something. He lacked the skill. But he reasoned even a poor warrior can luck his way into a victory. So he clad himself in royal armor and prepared for himself for a war. Despite the age of their kingdom, the dwarves of Gloomdeep Hold had made only small and scattered settlements across the Mountains of Despair, leaving great tracts of territory unexplored. Gloomdeep's depths were no less mysterious, with its underground reaches vanishing into a complex warren of abandoned tunnels, whose age stretched back into the mists of history. Tunnels once part of an empire that stretched beneath the whole of Teleria. There was no lack of possible places to uncover hidden treasures, both above and below. Most reputed among these rumored sites of buried treasures was an ancient castle, once a dwarven holdfast, but now the home of a terrible monster, known as the Fire Knight. The demon was a flaming brute clad in molten steel, wielding mace and fury such that none could defend against them. The treasures said to lie at the Fire Knight's feet were glorious beyond measure, and the Fire Knight's sacred shield bore a centerpiece that was said to be forged by the gods themselves. The gleaming mass of treasure that lay at his feet were said to be the possessions of fools who had taken their chances in a duel and lost. Nut did not think it was the wisest place to seek his gift to the king, but with no skill to tender, he knew he must try. With trepidation in his heart, Nut announced an expedition to slay the Fire Knight. A celebration was held in honor of this great quest, and over the course of it, Nut became intoxicated by the heady perfume of public approval, so intoxicated, in fact, that even he began to dismiss the dangers of his quest. Bye! It was really nice to see you, Overlord. I hope you sleep well and have a great night. Babe, is Nut good at Fire Knight? Like, I know this kind of just, leads to the fact that he should be good at Fire Knight, but I'm just curious. Ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. One of the best champs in the game. Well, that's good, since he's, as we just read, mediocre at everything else. I think he's going in the same... nah, we'll put him in C. Oh! Stop that. Put him in C. Penelope, don't you miss me? Okay. Alright, our next one. Ezio Auditor. I know he's from something else. I don't know what he's from. No, so it's not... Okay. I know he's a good fighter. I, however, don't know about any of the other fighters, so I'm not basing them on how they play. I'm basing them on how they look and the lore that I'm reading about. He is mediocre at best. I mean, his outfit is not my favorite. I prefer either hers or hers. And it literally said he was mediocre in here. Where was it? He became a master of nothing, not a great smith, nor a mighty warrior, nor a talented diplomat. His greatest talent was for producing a bawdy version of a common tavern song. He made a delightful friend, but a poor hero. He's just mediocre. Ezio Auditor. I know he's from something. Looks like Assassin's Creed, probably. Never played. Don't know. It could be good, could be shit. You know? I do like his outfit. I also like the sneakies. Bring it back! I like the sneaky. Very nice. I kind of like the red and white as much as I like the black and white, honestly. It's pretty nice. These. I like them. I like them. They're nice. Very fancy. I wouldn't say they're my favorite weapons, but I think they're pretty cool. Now let's see how they brought a non-original character into their game. He's another Sacred Order. Who is my... Was it Arter? Yeah. Arter's my other Sacred Order. We work in the dark to serve the light. We are assassins. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. We could have fun with this because I am a big fan of the assassin kind of characters. I know, babe, I said that. It says it down here, Assassin's Creed. I read that out. We could have luck. I am a big Assassins fan. I mean, I don't have access to them because they're too far away, but my favorite books are about an assassin, so slash a queen slash a fighter. So let's see. I'm gonna continue with this too. Hold on. Patience. Patience, grasshopper. Let's get this started back up. See if I can continue while I'm reading. No longer we won't take more suffering from you. Alright. Anywho. On to the actual reading. I know you don't know how to read, obvious. Bitch! Shut up. For the record, anybody who's new here, that is the other half of the channel. Who should be working really hard, making lots of money. Ezio was a nobleman in a time of culture and intellectual rebirth. Now his name lives on eternally. Following the public executions of his father and brothers, he was consumed by a quest for vengeance and justice. During this, Ezio had thought he'd seen the true power of those who came before, but then he was transported to a world beyond his reckoning. Upon first glance, Ezio seemed to be in a world he knew well. He smiled as the ladies walked by, jested at bishops and armored knights as they patrolled the cobbled streets where sellers hawked their wares. It wasn't until he saw man-sized, lizard-like creatures bound in chains and a traveling entertainer turning people into sheep that Ezio realized that this was not the world he knew. He scavenged for information, piecing together where he was in this unfamiliar land and scouting out individuals who could help him get home. Within days, Ezio established that he was in Tilshire and that his best bet was to travel to another city called Velizar, a bustling arena settlement that acted as a cultural crossroads, where everything was for sale, including information. From Tilshire, Ezio boarded a ship bound for Velizar. On board, Ezio found himself deep in conversation with green-skinned warriors and fire-wielding wizards, creatures he had never dreamed of, but who shared the same hopes, desires, and fears that he would hear from comrades back home. Even in a world as fantastical as this one, people still grappled with violence, corruption, and power. After arriving in Velizar, Ezio was surprised to feel the sensation of something from his home that could not be mistaken, the extraordinary pull of a piece of Eden. As he prowled the streets, markets, and rooftops, Ezio felt his influence grow stronger. His hunting culminated in him finding a religious zealot calling him Pontiff Augustine, who proclaimed love to a mobbing crowd. Ezio watched as the figure touched his hand to a glowing flask that hung from his waist, and the crowd turned from foaming at the mouth to being quiet and worshipful. There was no doubt in Ezio's mind, even in a strange world of half-men, half-beasts, and sorcerers conjuring fire from their hands. He could recognize a piece of Eden anywhere. If there was anything that could get him home, it was that. Rumors abounded that Augustine was a member of the cult of Cleth, parading as a bishop from the sacred order. Ezio knew and cared little for these terms. He simply saw a priest with a piece of Eden misusing its power, a scenario he was all too familiar with. For days, Ezio watched Augustine from the shadows, but he was not alone. Others moved in the darkness, stalking the same target. A flash of a hidden blade told Ezio that he was not the only assassin brought to this world. To the untrained eye, they would be any other killers, but not to Ezio. When the time was right, they would strike together as a brotherhood. I assume there is a brotherhood in Assassin's Creed. I know nothing about it. So again, with my not knowing things. Interesting story. I wish he was just in an assassin.